All right, welcome back, friends. So it's been a while since I've uploaded. Well, let me catch up on what happened. A while ago, Helen and I got married. Woohoo, yay to us. We had an awesome reception, awesome ceremony, awesome reception. And then we did a 2-week honeymoon, a little over 2 weeks, and it was fantastic. Went up to Montana, Wyoming, did some exploring overland style, and had a great time. During that trip, though, we made a huge pros and cons list, mainly cons of what we didn't like about our setup, and one of them is the noise that comes out of the Jeep when we're traveling down the highway, and it's just a bit too loud for us when we have to do long drives for an extended period of time. So that's what this video is about. We're going to go ahead and install this sound deadening mat. It's by Noeco, I think is how you say it, don't quote me on that, but it seems to be pretty good stuff from the reviews that I saw. I have their first layer, it's like that butylene aluminum foiled back stuff. I have that layer in the Jeep already. That helped quite a bit, I think. So I think this stuff will help even more. Now we're only going to do the floorboards, and the reason for that is simple. I don't know that it will stick to the ceiling. Here it can get up 120 plus. Actually, not too long ago, we hit 125 or 127 at one point in the sun. It was pretty hot. So this adhesive on here, I don't know that it would hold up to that when this thing is out in the sun, and that's something that I need to discuss. If you do know if it'll hold up to the heat, let me know, and then I'll look at buying some and sticking to the hardtop, and then we'll do another sound test. But, so, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead, let's take the Jeep for a little test drive, get a baseline of how it sounds, and then we'll rip everything out of the Jeep, look at how to install this stuff, and then we'll do another test drive and see what happens. So, let's get into it. All right, we are at 55. Let's see what the decibel meter reads. Looks to be about 75, 76. Yeah, we'll go with that. Now that our test is out of the way, let's go ahead and get the interior out, and then we'll start some cleaning, and then we'll lay everything down. Okay, everything's all cleaned up, everything's dry, or as clean as I can get it. I think it's pretty good. So, this is the part of the Jeep that I neglected to put this sound deadening stuff, not foam, just the rubber, or the butylene rubber junk, whatever, the aluminum covered stuff, made by the same company. So I think what we're going to do, this is the last piece that I have. It's all that I have, so we're not going to be able to cover the entire floor in this black stuff. But I think I have enough for the foam, and I think that'll be good. From what I understand, you don't have to cover every square inch with this stuff. You just have to get the big pieces. So let's go ahead and figure out where we're going to get this. I think right about there is going to be good. All right, I think we're ready to start laying the foam out. All right. Let's start figuring out how we're going to lay this stuff down. So, I think I'm just going to take them and just try to maximize my coverage with these things. I think we're going to do one here like that. And then like that. That guy will go like this. Trying to decide if I should do right here or not. The seat kind of clamps over here in an odd way, so I don't know. But we can try. Maybe it's better to do it like that, and then if we have extra, we can come back and fill in these holes on the side here. I see. So we're gonna have some leftover cut pieces, so we'll just stick those where we can. So I guess we'll just get into it and then kind of just cut them as we go. I hope I bought enough. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work. And here we are. It is pretty much installed all the way. This stuff is a little tricky to work with if you've never done it before. This is my first time. And I definitely have a few little mistakes here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I think it's going to help a lot. Now, we're going to stop here tonight because I'm going to take all the carpets, wash and shampoo them, and let them dry. And then tomorrow, we'll go ahead and install everything and then run our test on the highway and see if this did anything. Hopefully it did. All right. So there we have it. Everything is installed. The carpet's back in, seats are back in, the sound deadening stuff is in. The only thing left to do is go take a ride in it and see what happens. So let's do that. I'd say that's a definite improvement. Definitely. All right, let's get back to the garage. All right, and we're back. So we had some interesting results, or not so interesting, I guess, expected results. But before we go over them, let's just talk about my Jeep real quick so you get an understanding of what's going on. I have a roof rack, which inherently is going to add noise, adds a little bit of whooshing noise normally. Mine specifically, I cut the whole thing apart and then welded it back together to make it better and more usable for us. When I did that, there are a few holes that I didn't fill within the bars themselves, because I cut the original bars apart. And those I found out whistle on our last trip. And you may have heard of that a little bit in the video, and the meter was definitely picking that up. 2, I have 33-inch tires with 488 gears and a manual transmission on a TJ. That's very deep gearing. So going down the highway at 65, I'm turning 2,800 RPMs, just shy of 3,000. 55 I think is like 2,500, somewhere around there. So I'm turning a lot of RPMs, and that adds a lot of noise in a Jeep. Also, I'm running an aftermarket exhaust by Banks, and while it's not a bad exhaust, it's definitely louder at those RPMs going down the highway just because it's aftermarket. By contrast, a stock exhaust makes this thing sound like a little sewing machine, and you can barely even hear it when it's running. So there's that. Now, let's get on the results. So it looks like that before we installed the insulation kit, the insulation kit, we were at 75, 76 dB. Is that about right? I think that's where we were at. And then on the way back, after installing the kit and running down the highway, looks like we were getting between 73 and 71. The lowest I saw was 71, the highest I 73 or something like that. Obviously on a smooth road when you're not hitting a bunch of potholes and stuff. And that's a significant improvement in my mind. So from there, I'm going to say we're 2, maybe 3 dB quieter at the most. And I think it's fantastic. I could definitely tell it was quieter down the highway, and that's what matters, right? And on top of that, when I first started up and let everything idle, it's hard to tell the engine is actually idling just from the noise on the inside. It's a lot quieter, so it definitely helped a lot. Insulating this thing was a really good choice. And we'll see how it lasts going down the road if it actually does keep the rig cooler and if it does keep the rig hotter in the winter. I don't know that it will, but insulation has to do something, right? What else? So I think that's about it for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and if you would install insulation like this. I had to use 2 packages to get where I got, and I have a few pieces left over, like 3 or 4 pieces left over. So if you're planning on doing something like this, you're probably going to need 2 packages. I think they're 20 square foot a piece. I'll throw a link in the description below so you can take a look at it. And other than that, the only other tip I can give you is wear gloves, because it definitely sticks to you, and when you stick it to something, that's pretty much it. There is no going back. You could pull it off, but when you go to pull it off, it tears apart. And the other thing is definitely plan out how you're going to stick this stuff down. I think I did an okay job for the first time dealing with this stuff. I don't think I did a fantastic job. And in my opinion, if you were to take your time a little bit more than I did and really lay out how you want each little foam square to go, then you'd have a much better time and be able to probably more completely cover everything and make better use of the foam. So those are my 2 tips if you're going to do it. And other than that, I think it worked great. So with that, I think we're going to end the video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. You are awesome for subscribing and watching my videos, and we'll see you in the next one.